Back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition here of the KungFu Cup, 2026 week number 2. Your weekly dose of KungFu Cup action. I'm, of course, your live VIP with you. I'm joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome, one and all. Welcome to our weekly KungFu Cup. Again, a big shout to SC Boy. SC Boy, they are the main Chinese community casters and the main Chinese entities, I should say. When it comes to StarCraft, they have been partnering with Thunderfire, with NetEase. They've been running a bunch of tournaments, running Thunderfire, running Rongi Cup. Running Rongi Cup as well, and also bringing back KungFu Cup on a regular weekly basis. Let's go, Bible, let's go. So we're here to catch up. We're here to jump into some KungFu Cup action, and we have our initial matchup. We have our initial TVZ. We're going to be jumping into TVT, ByuN versus Cure. Let's go. Bearing in mind this is going to be a replay cast, KungFu Cups do occur deep late into the night, so we are not able to cover it live at the moment, but daylight savings is right around the corner, and once it hits, we should be able to cover this event on a more regular basis, live specifically. Let's go. I think that'll be either next week or the week after that, so right around the corner. But here we go. We're jumping in our first matchup. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winterman as we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran for Team Liquid. It is Cure. And spawning in the top left hand corner we have the other South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Shelf Rebellion. It is ByuN. Let's go. Let us go again. We are in the quarterfinals of this event. We're going to be covering the quarterfinals into semis into grand finals. That'll be the structure here of this broadcast. Once again, as we mentioned, this is a weekly tournament. There have been different iterations of Kung Fu Cup, in monthlies, weeklies. We've had like StarCraft Evolution Kung Fu Cups, Warcraft Evolution as well. Like we've had some different kind of variations, of course. This year we are coming back on a regular weekly basis. I believe the plan is the Kung Fu Cup runs every 4 weeks and then takes 1 week break. That fifth week will be a break instead, and then back into 4 weeks. So I believe that is the current schedule for the Kung Fu Cup. And again, we should be able to catch up and start broadcasting live starting next week. Oh, there you go. Next week should be back to live coverage. Beautiful. It's gonna be it's an intense month. It's an intense April, catching up on the otherwise missed out broadcast, but we will get there. Otherwise, so far we do get back into our TVT once again. Double gas open out of ByuN, double gas open out of KURE. These two players have been facing off so often as of late. We've been covering a lot of TVTs featuring ByuN, Percival, and KURE as well, and they face off once again. Now, something interesting that we've been seeing is that typically I do favor KURE in the Terran versus Terran matchup. I would say KURE has some of the best TVT in the world. There's a reason why KURE beat Maro at EWC in the TVT matchup, but ByuN is a very unique player. He's a bit of a different beast. You know anything about ByuN, he's the kind of player that will stay on a very low tech army. So typically in Terran versus Terran, as we build up into a macro game, so far double gas, faster factory, late TC, we can get into a bit of a stronger Hellion Reaper setup. But typically, as we get into a longer game state, it goes Biotank, then into Viking production, then into Liberators, then into Ravens, then potentially BC in the Giga late game. But it's all about air control. That's what it turns into in the slower style of like tanks, Marines, Vikings, positional play. That's typically where TVT does lead for most Terran players out there. ByuN is very different. Instead of switching into Vikings, and we saw this morning actually. This morning we did cast ByuN versus Percival. Fun fact, Percival did beat ByuN. I recommend the votes for this morning. It was an intense back and forth TVT, but what ByuN does do intentionally is that he will stay in the mid game with Marine Tank. He will stick with Marine Tank. He will not transition, or it takes a lot to force him to transition out of Biotank into Vikings, into Ravens, into an air transition. He will do everything he can to avoid getting into that kind of position and avoid being forced into that kind of army composition switch. Again, going into purely Marine Tank, the advantage of that is that it's a very cheap army. It's a very mobile army specifically. Allows you to go for Doom drops into the main base, drop play into the third, into the fourth, big rotations as well. You can stim across the map, you can stim and try to bypass an army. Like, it does allow you to be hyper aggressive, and ByuN does that like no other. Sometimes to his own detriment. It does mean that usually in TVT, if we get to the mid game, ByuN is on a timer, right? Because his opponent is building up a superior composition, a much more efficient composition, and will eventually outscale ByuN if ByuN fails to get damage done. That's typically how ByuN CVTs do kind of work out. Meanwhile, KURE did take the initially better fight, took down 2 Reapers, going up the ramp. Oh, his own army does line up, and better heli volleys here from ByuN. A nice split, nice spread, and we do get a bit of a back and forth trade, but in the end, KURE breaks through. KURE does break on through. Text and all the fire, pushing towards the natural. ByuN has to evacuate. He cannot defend that natural base, but the Cyclone has now arrived. And with the Cyclone arriving, KURE has to back up, has to respect it, pulls away. So we do have a bit of a back and forth trade. Ideally, KURE did want economic damage. He fails to get into the mineral line. He barely does fail to do so. And pulling it back here, we do see a bit of a back and forth trade, but now that we have Cyclones, ByuN, he's secure. ByuN is going to be secure. Tank production has begun. We do have Cyclones and soon to be tanks from KURE. Both players building up in towards their own Ravens. Despite this same opener of going for the double gas, we do have different variations here. KURE committing harder into Reaper Hellion. ByuN faster switch into Cyclone tank. Here we go. As it does settle, I do favor ByuN's army currently here, as ByuN does have a slightly faster tank, so faster Cyclone, faster tank production. ByuN does have a slightly better setup here coming into a longer game, but only slightly. When it comes to the economies, we're neck and neck. Are neck and neck. As we have our extra Raxes. KURE, he is one to embrace mech from time to time, but that's very map dependent. I don't really see mech happening here on Winter Madness. We could see it on some of these other maps, like Celestial Enclave, for example. But here we can just slow things down and build up into Biotank. Yeah, there's the add-on swap. Into stim. We do have a bit of a greedier follow-up here by KungFu going for the third CC on location. Quite greedy. ByuN going for a CC on the high ground so he can float over whenever he needs be. This tells me that ByuN has the opportunity to punish this expansion if he can start to be active. But now though, KungFu, the best defense is a good offense, right? He's getting his third base, it is exposed, it is vulnerable. The goal here for KungFu is to be active, to force ByuN to stay at home, not to push across the map. So much more proactive defense here from KungFu as he does move out. He's got his Ravens, he has his Disables. Getting ready to move in. Also, share my papi, share my true. Bienvenidos in the chat. Bienvenidos. Good to see you. Yeah, as KungFu does poke in. Trying to get within range of the main base potentially. Thanks to Siege. Lock on here on the tank. Another lock on! Yeah, lock on is brutal. The tank doesn't go down. Forced to use the disable. The tank barely does survive. Just barely against the Cyclone. But one shot away from going down. Yeah, does shuffle back his units. But a very exposed tank. Raven's going to be moving in. Ooh, tank volleys are on the Cyclone. Tank volleys do pop off. KungFu has his own disable. Raven's coming in from behind. The boys are being pulled, and ByuN is going to try to break out. Yeah, does go for the dive. Does break out. Throws out the auto turret. Throws out the disable. Knife, not bad. Yeah, not bad disable here. The Ravens are going to be cleaned up. So many SCVs going to be going down. ByuN losing far too much. If he does not break out, no shot. ByuN, he loses everything. Yeah, he fails to break out, losing 19 SCVs, losing the main army as well. And KungFu, he overwhelms. Yeah, he overwhelms. He pushes past. Gets on top of the final tank. GG gets called, and KungFu, he takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. KungFu does take a lead in the series. Again, coming into this, both players were kind of keeping up with each other. KungFu, he had no intention of ending the game, by the way. Like, he was expanding behind it. He was claiming his third base. He was teching up and building up. But we saw that ByuN, he committed so hard to trying to break up by pulling all the boys. Unfortunately, they were defensive auto targets for KungFu. He was able to tank up all those SCVs. He had the extra tank as well, shelling away at the main army. And yeah, that was a very extreme response there from ByuN, and he lost everything as a result. Lost everything. I believe the goal there, of course, was to try to break out and then instantly counterattack. That's why you'd pull the boys to have a bit of a more efficient breakout, quote unquote efficient in the sense that you preserved your army units, but yeah, it did not work well at all. It was like, that was brutal. GG. GG, well played. With that, KungFu takes the lead, and now we're going to be loading into game number 2. Going to be loading into Tourmaline. Let's go. Let us go. Loading into now this time a much smaller map in the map pool. This is where you can be more active and more aggressive earlier on. Let's go. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the South Green Terran player. We have the Blue Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Red Terran player. We have the South Green Terran representing Team Liquid. It is KungFu. KungFu does take a lead in the series, and we'll see how our players do adjust coming into game number 2. Game 1, we did have our initial double gas openers in towards the mid game. Again, both players were holding their own in their own way, but KungFu was able to force a bigger response and a bigger engage there from ByuN, and was able to not just break the army but break the economy as well. KungFu got everything he wanted. Got it all. This time, single gas. This time, single gas openers from both ByuN and, oh, I spoke too soon. KungFu does go for the second gas geyser. So KungFu is going for a faster factory. ByuN is going for the faster command center. So ByuN will have a more economic start. KungFu more tech heavy. So KungFu does move out with his initial SCV. It is not uncommon in TVT to skip the SCV scouts, but this map is small enough where I understand the need to be a little bit safer here for KungFu, to be a little bit more secure. So he moves out with the SCV, checking for proxies, and he will soon confirm the opener. When it comes to the early game here, ByuN will come out ahead, as ByuN will have the faster command center, and ByuN didn't waste a worker scouting across the map either. KungFu moves in, confirms the racks, and confirms the CC. So KungFu sees everything he needs to. He now knows that ByuN went for a greedy economic build. And the pressure is now on Cure. Pressure's on Cure to find some damage here with his opener. There's that faster factory. We can go into, once again, Reaper Hellion. Commit into fast Reaper Hellion, or try to go into an earlier Cyclone. Buenos días, la grasa. Buenos días. Bienvenidos. Buenos días. Cure's going to push in, getting his own natural as well. Again, far later here for Cure. Later expansion. Reaper's moving out. As you can see here, there's no Hellions this time. Yeah, no Hellions, going straight for the Tech Lab, straight for the Cyclone. So lighter commitment out of Cure. Oh, Reaper gets caught out. Curie almost gets caught out. Thankfully, does pull away, does reinforce. Curie escapes. Does race back home. From here, we should be working towards tank Raven setup in the early game. We could try to be cheeky and go into early Banshee play. It can be quite risky, but I mean, high risk, high reward. You can pop off. Medevac's going to be on the way, so we have the early drop play out of Cure. Likewise for ByuN as well. If you recall, we did not see this last game. Last game we had faster Ravens from both players. This time earlier drops. Okay, so it's going to be single Medevac into add-on swap into Raven. Reaper Hellion moving out. Reaper Cyclone even. ByuN has to be careful here. Loading up for a drop. Cure getting ready for his push. There it is, loads up the Cyclone. ByuN moves out. Cure's about to move in. The armies, they miss each other completely. Oh, okay. Yeah, the armies, they do pass by. And what is it to defend? We have 4 Marines back in for Cure. Meanwhile, ByuN has nothing. Oh, sorry, he has Reaper Hellion. It's 1 Reaper, 1 Hellion. Slow approach at a Cure. Cure goes for a depot. Meanwhile, ByuN, he can just commit in. So different approach here. Does he commit or does he just go for the depot? Yeah, he boosts in. He boosts into the mineral line, going straight for the economy. Again, Cure, he was a lot slower here to approach in. And SCV's going down. And, ooh, sniping the Raven. Raven goes down. SCVs as well. ByuN cleans up the army. Forces back the drop, even getting a lock on. And both armies going to be forced back. Ooh, losing the Cyclone. ByuN does bleed out a lot of units here. ByuN was able to kill 3 SCVs. ByuN, they're losing 5. Yeah, 5 workers do go down. Worker counts are evening up. Remember that ByuN had a higher economy or better economy for longer here. So ByuN losing those extra workers does even things up. But remember, what else did ByuN achieve? He killed a Raven. Did snipe a Raven, so better pick off here, better trade for ByuN. As he did snipe said Raven. From here, 3rd CC is on the way. Cure's expanding. Oh, ByuN going for a 2nd starport. Okay, this is a modern variation of 2-port 2-base, not all in, but 2-port 2-base aggression. I should kind of rectify my language here, because going for a fast 2nd starport used to be a 2-port 2-base all in. This was back a couple of years ago, or even just last year. But remember, there was a recent change. There was a recent buff to the Viking, which does make it cheaper, which does make it more accessible, which means that this is less committed. You can expand with this. It is hyper aggressive, don't get me wrong, going Raven into Vikings, but you can take that expansion. This is often not an all-in that ByuN is going for. So the goal here is to make 3 Vikings at a time, gain air control, and then reinforce with the Liberator, and then try to break your opponent. And we'll see if Cure can react and respond and scout this, more importantly. But yeah, the Viking is now 25 minerals cheaper. I was just double checking the exact numbers. That was the recent change from end of last year, November. So that's why you now can afford a CC with this build. With all those saved resources. ByuN is moving in. Gets spotted by the Marine. Do you have it? Oh, the tank count is even here. Tanks to initially siege for cure. ByuN does shoot first. Yeah, ByuN, he kills the tank. Better pick up by ByuN. Does disable. Disables 2 tanks and he does move in. Yeah, lands the Vikings as well, going for the tanks. At the same time, we have the counter disables. But that's going to be all 3 tanks going down, and ByuN, he protects his own. Yeah, he protects his tanks. He overwhelms. He breaks on through. Too many Vikings. Doesn't even get them lifted. He lands, Pappy. And with that, he has broken the natural. ByuN, he breaks the natural. GG gets called, and ByuN, he will tie the series 1-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. And remember, ByuN wasn't even all in. ByuN was expanding behind it as well. Like, that's the new variation of 2-port 2-base play, is you can afford that third CC. That's ever since the latest patch back in November. So a new modern variation can be quite strong, quite powerful. One of the reasons why Cure, his defense was that difficult as it was, remember, Cure, he lost a Raven. He lost a Raven before this fight in the beginning when it came to the first drop. And also Cure went for a very fast third CC, investing his resources into his economy, less so into his army. And with that, he was overwhelmed. Whew. And with that, we're now going to be loading into game number 3. Going to be getting into the ace match. Let's go. Game 3 is going to be on Taito Citadel. We'll see how this story ends. Again, that was a very specific build here by ByuN. It also hits harder on Tourmaline because, as we mentioned, Tourmaline is a smaller map. It's a very, very small map, so it takes less time to get across the map, and your opponent has less time to react to you as well. So that also came into play, but now we're loading into a larger map. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Taito Citadel, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top side, top left hand corner of Taito Citadel, we have the red Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran for Team Liquid. It is Cure. Let's go. We have our TBT, we have our ace match. We made it all the way here to the final game, and we'll see how this story does end. Once again, welcome to Taito Citadel. This is a larger map of the map pool. One of the big factors of Taito Citadel, which we often do see, which might come into play in this game as well, is how exposed or how isolated these bases are, referring to the linear third base and the triangular third as well. So the distance here, as you can see, between the bases is quite long. It's quite a long distance. And what does that mean? That means that if you fail to see your army moving and rotating and pivoting around from one base to the other, if you fail to keep up with that movement, then you can be caught with your pants down. It can take a long time to respond, and you'll be caught out of position. We do see time and time again, Terran-based armies, tanks getting within range and getting up this ramp and laying siege upon this either triangular third base or that linear third as well. It can be difficult to keep up. So vision, scouting is going to be paramount coming into the mid-game specifically. And to be fair, this applies to all matchups, right? It applies to Protoss rotations, Zerg rotations as well. It can be difficult to maintain a high base count on Taito, as you go from your linear third, your triangular third, and then all the way up here towards your northern fifth base as well. To be fair, a lot of players do just take the center expansion, which it has its own issues. Like, it's also quite exposed. Can be attacked from multiple angles. We'll see if we can get there. For now, single gas opener, faster economy out of ByuN, going for the faster CC. Likewise, same can be said for Cure. So mirrored openers, mirrored builds. Do you have our mirrored starts? From here, reactor is going to be on the way. And we can just calm down. Okay, we can just calm down. Oh, okay, never mind. Going for the add-on swap into reactor to Hellion. Both players are. Building up a reactor to Hellion. Typically, when you commit into Hellions like this, the goal is for economic damage. There has been a build rise in popularity recently, which is getting up to 8 Hellions, and just diving onto the Cyclone and rushing past and getting to the mineral line. We've been seeing this build pop up over the past month, maybe 2 months. It's specifically this year. Specifically this year, we've seen like getting up to 8 reactor to Hellion. can be quite intense. And we'll see if we continue additional Hellion production. Yeah, we are. Okay, let's go. We're going for it. Interesting that both players are kind of embracing the same build, actually. Like, blindly, by the way. Like, KuR hasn't scouted ByuN. ByuN has not scouted KuR. We're just blindly building up to 8 Hellions. We have a Raven, and the goal here is to commit across the map. It will come down to the army control and how our players line up their units. Remember, Hellions do splash damage, and if your opponent lines up their army or clumps up their army, then they will take extra damage from said splash damage. We go. Okay, we're going to be stopping at 6, so not as committed. Not as committed here. Going to be stopping at 6 Hellions. Both players still keeping up with each other. And we'll see who's going to be the first to move out. Who will be the first? ByuN going for his own Raven harass. Meanwhile, KuR's Raven is being more defensive back at home. Hellion's also activated. Ideally, this sits at the same time, right? Ideally, one distracts for the other. Ooh, third base on location. Greedy move here by KuR. Gets spotted. Army gets spotted. ByuN sees the exact same build, pulls away. Raven moves in. As we mentioned, one typically wants to distract for the other, and KuR is distracted. Oh, but they're Marines. Marines are in position. Raven is zoned away. So nice positioning here from KuR. Zones away the Raven. Both players are building up. Third CC is much more delayed here for ByuN. So delayed third here at the natural. Based on the third base positioning, ByuN, he might expand here at the linear location instead. We'll keep an eye on him. As ByuN is shocking around. Still quite tense between our players. I mean, no major advantage here. We're just keeping up with each other with an even economy. With the slight variation in army, we already have additional tank production for ByuN. The reasoning for this is that I believe KuR did go for a second Cyclone. Yeah, he went up to 2 Cyclones. ByuN only went up to 1. So ByuN has faster tank production. Likewise, ByuN switching into faster Viking production as well. So more Vikings, more tanks for ByuN. A much more aggressive move out here from our blue Terran. KuR, what's he doing? Upgrades. Double eBay, faster upgrades, faster third TC as well. KuR, he's investing into upgrades, investing into tech, investing into the economy. Meanwhile, ByuN is coming here and now. Ooh. Hellion volley goes up, 1 Hellion goes down. Nice lock in here from KuR. So we have a back and forth trade. Vikings are scouted by the scan. So KuR, you should know he's in trouble. He has to slow this down. Once again scanning. Ravens harassing on the left hand side. Okay. Ravens, they peel off towards the left. KuR, when he scanned, he should have recognized that the Ravens are missing. Nice mining at the natural. Ravens, they keep going in. They go for the main, actually. Okay. Yeah, they head into the main base. They catch us some SCVs. No major damage here, but it does get 4 SCVs. Likewise, the army does respond. More auto turrets, more damage. Does he get the tank? No, not quite. Mass repair. Yeah, mass repair on the tank. 6 SCV kills. Still more auto turrets. Now, there is a bit of a downside here. On the one hand, nice damage, right? 8 workers. 8 workers go down for nothing, essentially for energy. But this also means that now these Ravens cannot help in the main fight. It means that they're fully tapped out of energy, so there's no counter disables, there's no auto turrets. If KuR will push. So that is a risk. Meanwhile, KuR, his Ravens are with the main army, and he can disable to his heart's content. ByuN, he has to be careful. As ByuN pulls away, he does go for the Hellion run by a very nice backstab. There's the first disable. Hellions, they bust into the mineral line. SV is going to be going down. And KuR commits. KuR does commit up the ramp. He gets 1, he gets 2. Ooh, 2 tanks go down. Massive pickoffs. catching out one of the Vikings as well. Does go for the armor shred. And Curie denies the third. Denies the third base. Will force a lift. Again, ByuN, he's in trouble. Back across the map, finding more damage, getting more SCV kills. ByuN is ahead economically. He's ahead in the worker count, I should say. He's ahead in workers, but he's stuck on 2 bases. And there's still energy left over. There's still a lot of energy left here for Cure. Oh, he slips in. Yeah, he gets one. Gets one of the Ravens. Bleeds out 13 SCVs. It's a lot of workers falling. Bearing in mind that ByuN still has the Viking count. Gotta be starting further back. There we go. Vikings, they push forward. They do get one of the Ravens. There's one Raven left. And he gets the second Raven. Yeah, cleans up. He does clean up. The boys are being pulled. He gets on top of the tanks. And ByuN completely shuts down the army. But at a cost. At a big cost here. Oh no, the SCVs, they overextend. That's going to be 37 SCV kills. ByuN holds, ByuN defends, but he has no economy. Thankfully, did keep his third CC alive. But ByuN is hurting. What does ByuN have? What does ByuN have? ByuN, he still has the Ravens, true. The Ravens are still alive. ByuN still has the Viking lead as well. So he has Ravens, he has Vikings. When it comes to the main army, it is in favor of Cure in terms of Marines and tank count. As Raven harass continues. We can see Cure trying to catch out the Raven. Oh. Cure, all of his Marines are out of position, busy trying to deal with the Raven. Meanwhile, at the same time, ByuN going for a Dream Drop. Yeah, diving into the natural, and Cure is completely out of position. His army is here at the natural. Sorry, it's at the third. It's across the map. Marines, they drop in. Cure is racing back. He's racing back home. Mining is being denied at the natural. Does pull the boys in. And ByuN, he picks up. He will lose both tanks. He'll lose the tanks, dropping further into the main and getting more economic damage. Denying the upgrade? Maybe. Okay. Denies +2. Yeah, +2 is denied. At the same time, Curie does go for the counterattack. Once again, the boys are being pulled. A lot of economic damage here to ByuN. A lot of economic losses. Losing 20 SCVs. ByuN, he does hold, but once again, the economy is crippled. He just built back up. He just has no workers. 34 SCVs, pappy. And ByuN, sure, he was able to do some counter damage, but he also sustained too many losses. So ByuN is still behind. ByuN, he still has those Ravens, still has those Vikings. But now he has lost, he's now down in tanks. Ravens, they've joined up with the main army. Do get the repair off. Let's go with the single Marine drop. Hey, he gets 2 SCVs. To be fair. ByuN doing what he can. He's doing what he can. Likewise, ByuN does have the upgrade advantage just because +2 was denied. True. 3-3 has begun, so the upgrades might factor in for ByuN, assuming that the game lasts that long. It'll be impressive if it does. But that is a big delay. As Cure still has to rebuild his eBay. Starts up +2. Cure moves out. So does ByuN. Cure gets spotted. And ByuN, how does he react? Okay, somewhat turns around. Does he have to pull the boys again? Does he? No. And more SCV kills. ByuN moving in. Does get one of the tanks. And he's going to try to force the issue here. And turns back the army, gets one disable off. ByuN barely gets off the expansion. Another disable here on the other tank. Not bad. Kills one, kills both tanks. And Cure cannot engage. At the same time, he's in the main. It drops into the main. Third base is being denied. Again, Cure is only fighting with a portion of his army because he did go for the drop play. And Cure cannot break out. ByuN gaining ground.
Is under attack.
Slowly pushing in. The drop isn't really achieving much damage. Did deny some mining, but there's nothing in the main anyway. Dropping to the third. Forcing a bit of friendly fire. And ByuN just commits into the main. Just picks up. Boosts in. There's one on siege tank. Curious late to respond. Oh, one tank doesn't get picked off. ByuN, he maintains his position. Yeah, he shells away. Just shells away at the army. Doesn't quite get the tank though. Curious holding. Curious holding on. It's a little bit more messy here, but this job wasn't worth it. It was not worth it for ByuN. Bleeds out too much. Did he kill the CC? Okay. I was like, where's the command center? Floated over. Did float over. Thankfully, didn't kill the CC. But we're getting messy. Worker counts are neck and neck. When it comes to the army, Cure has a massive tank lead. Meanwhile, ByuN has more Marines. Bearing in mind that, hey, we spoke about 3-3 earlier. 3-3 is about to finish for ByuN. And Cure is going to have 3-2. ByuN sips in, does get 1-2 on siege tanks. Wow, very nice pickup. Catching out 2 tanks, pulls away. Again, Cure never made use of that second eBay. So he will have worse upgrades for his ByuN. Floats over his main. Lands it at the third. And we're getting messy. Yeah, dropping across the map. The space is looking quite exposed. We mentioned this at the very beginning of the game, how once you get your 4th base up and running, your bases are very spread out, you're very spread thin. And we'll see if Cure can keep up. So far as in position. Tanks are ready. Cheeky moves here by Cure, stemming in. One says Metamax. Getting cheeky. ByuN also securing his own 4th. And after chaotic mid-game, we're slowing things down. Like, the game is slowing down. We're establishing our 4 bases. I say we're slowing things down. Cure does push. Does go for the mass on siege. He's got 11 tanks to 6. He's got double the tank count. It's a lot of tanks. Remember, ByuN has the higher marine count instead, and we'll see if ByuN can catch out these tanks on siege. If not, then Cure's just going to push his way through. Cure's going for it. There's a sim. A sim's in. Ooh, late siege. And how many tanks do we get? 1, 2, just 2, 3. 3 tanks go down. Marines, they get shut down as well. And ByuN, he's on overwhelm. These tanks are so exposed. There's no support. We got to get out of here. Cure is going further in. Pushing within range. Bold move here from Cure. Again, we need support. Like, these tanks, I need the Marines. I need support. The Marines are coming. Steaming across the map. ByuN, he tries to dive, comes in for the surround, and it's too late. Yeah, ByuN, he cleans up every single tank. Yeah, the reinforcements were too late, too delayed. And Cure did overextend. Again, sure, Cure, he had the higher tank count, but he had nothing to protect, nothing to support those tanks. They were on their own. And with that, Cure, he will lose his lead. He does lose the tank lead. Every tank goes down. And ByuN does it. The power of mass marine. Man with gun, Babby. Let's go. Yeah, rushes across the map, takes down the 4th. Pushing into the natural. Actually, we'll just kill the CC. Which hurts even more because there's no main. Secure down to 2 command centers. 2 command centers left. Thankfully, it does make a 3rd. It does make a 3rd CC. He's floating over. calm down. Yeah, ByuN getting a little bit greedy. Has to pull away, but again, ByuN has taken the lead. He's ahead in economy now. He's got his 4 bases. Likewise, ByuN, he now takes a tank lead, which should not have happened. But he's ahead in tanks. And the pressure's on Cure. Now, there is potential. There are ways to say, I was going to say drop into the main base. There's not really much to kill in the main, but there are ways to hit the third. Scans for the northern base. ByuN going for his own double drop. We see that ByuN, he's paranoid about drop play as well, getting ready here outside of his main. Ready for the counterattack. And ByuN is about to max. He's about to max out. Showing just how far ahead he has been, economically at least. Yep, catching out the drops. Ooh. Catching the medevac. Cure, he has to get out of here. He has to pull out. ByuN does rotate the first siege as well. Within range of the planetary. Liberation has arrived. ByuN just getting further ahead. And once the answer to the Liberators, there's no answer. There's no answer. He sims in and gets 3 more tanks. Oof. 3 more tanks go down. Planetary as well. Cure still stuck on 2 bases. And again, ByuN has done it. We had the back and forth, went all the way to the ace match, and even this game had its own moments for Cure, moments for ByuN. But in the end, Cure did overextend. Otherwise, we could have just slowed the game down and maxed out. Cure, he was overly aggressive. Didn't have enough support. With that long distance mining, he floats over the main once again. That's the main base, Pappy. Flew over to the third, now floating over to the fourth. Cure hanging in there. He's holding on. Oh! A bit of an over engage here from ByuN. The over engage, he does get caught out. Cure catching half the army, not bad, but there's still so much to surround, so many Marines left over. And ByuN collapses in. Yeah, ByuN collapses in. Chasing down the Marines. Again, this is the final army for Cure. GG gets called, and ByuN will claim the series 2-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. ByuN, he will claim the series. He will advance on. Again, a very intense back and forth here. Once again, ByuN showcasing his own unique style of TVT, staying very, very heavy on Marines, light on Vikings, and lighter on tanks. Heavy bio play, and with that, it was very shaky. We was very back and forth. We had moments where ByuN was forced to pull the boys and losing a bunch of SCVs. Cure doing the same as well. Very chaotic, very messy between both players. In the end, it all came down to that final push from Cure towards the south side, where he moved out with, what was it, like 8 to 11 tanks? No, yeah, it was 11. It was 11 tanks moving out, and he had a really high tank count, but he bled out a lot of Marines early on, so he couldn't really protect those tanks. So the tanks were on their own, so they were vulnerable to surround, and ByuN collapsed in. Reset the tank counts, and GG, well played. Took it from there. And with that, congratulations, ByuN, he'll advance on. He'll advance on into the next round to face off against his next opponent. Oh boy, it's going to be a TVZ. Terran versus Rogue. It's going to be ByuN versus Rogue. Let's go. Oh boy. Let us go. It's going to be a TVZ. Meanwhile, before I get ahead of myself, a big shout out to Zion SC2 in the chat. God, baby God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime for 2 months. For 2 months. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the content, the casting, and the StarCraft. Thank you, puppy. Thank you. Gracias, puppy. Gracias. As we are getting into our fresh series, our semifinals, we're following ByuN into the semis. Let's go. Whew. Let us go. As once again, ByuN takes down Cure. It's been a bit of a more regularity as of late that ByuN does advance on over Cure. We've seen them facing off quite often as of late in RSL, in other online tournaments. But here we go, now we have a different matchup entirely. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran for Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. Let's go. Let us go. As we have our fresh series, we have our TVZ, and Rogue has been interesting as of late. Rogue, he's a good player, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to Rogue's return from military service, Rogue, he has been having a bit of a harder time really finding his footing. Of course, one of the big moments of Rogue's return was Star Zagora, where he featured like the late game mass overseer style versus Clem. That is true, like that was a big moment for Rogue, but that was a very brief period in time. After that, his style got kind of figured out, and all the Terran players were able to adjust, able to adapt, and that style was only really prevalent for around a month after Star Zagora, and then did fall off. I would say, and I said this previously, I'll say it again, I would say that currently Rogue, his real strengths lie in his strategy, like his strategy and his builds, and his kind of tactical play more than anything. Rogue, he's been very vocal in recent interviews talking about how he's not as fast as he once was, like pre-military service, like like the speed might not be necessarily on his side, but the mind is still there, of course. And with that, he has been able to, again, kind of push the meta in certain directions and come up with certain wild builds. We see that especially in ZVZ. If you watch his ZVZ currently, it's still very chaotic and it's crazy. Like what he does in ZVZ, it's insane, man. It's insane. I'm talking like proxy spire with like Job Lord spreading creep to like hide the tech, like things of that nature. Going for like these quirky early upgrade timings or these link floods as well off of like 2-base roach openers. Like he can be very, very chaotic in ZVZ. But we'll see how that translates to the other matchups. I will say that Rogue is a little bit more one note against Protoss. Like his ZVP is a little bit more, I mean, he does one of two things. Either he does lurker rushes or he does go into 3-base all-ins typically. Against Terran, I'm curious how he's adjusted over time. I haven't casted too much of Rogue's ZVT, to be honest. Haven't casted it too much. So I'm ready. Show us what you got. There was a mass changeling game. I mean, that's what I was referring to when I said the series in Star Zagora where he went mass overseer. Like mass overseer refers to mass changeling. I was mentioning that was prevalent for like a month before it got figured out. That's why we don't see that anymore, as all the Terran players are able to just not even just figure out the late game, but also like games that last a lot shorter from then as well. As we do see ByuN catching out the first queen. Oh my god. Again, he's going for 3-Rack Reaper. 3-Rack Reaper, my apologies, I was a little bit lost in the history of Rogue. But 3-Rack Reaper, he does catch the first queen. A massive pickoff. Does he get another queen? Does want it. Does want the second queen. We do have link speed kicking in, and with link speed finishing up, Rogue will defend. Rogue is holding on. Meanwhile, Rogue, to avoid all these Reapers, does go for the Ninja base. Does go for the Ninja expansion. So he's sneaking out at that hidden third. ByuN going to the eBay back at home, going for that bio switch into stim, +1, combat shields. And ByuN is in a good position, assuming there's no third base, but Rogue did expand. Did expand. Behind this, Rogue is still making links, by the way. He's not droning. He's not droning, he's not saturating. Okay, now he does squeeze out some workers. I'll squeeze out a couple of drones. As he does get a second queen. Aye. Yeah, Rogue getting called out. He commits in. Rogue, he does have enough to surround, and he does catch 2 Reapers. Yeah, 2 Reapers get caught. Nice movement here by ByuN. And he trades well. Just trading as efficiently as possible here, reducing service area. Ooh, does slip away. Another KDA charge. These links are going down one after the other. Oh my god. Again, very efficient trades here by ByuN. And remember, these Reapers, they will eventually be cleaned up, but he's making rogue work for it. Oof. Yeah, he's making work for it. Remember, back at home, we have Stim on the way. We're building up into Marines. We're transitioning into a longer game. As the final Reaper does finally fall. What were the trades here? 39 Lings, 2 Queens for 8 Reapers. Oh my god. So again, nice trades here by ByuN. And once again, ByuN, he should be ahead, but Rogue does have a third. And he is droning. He's droning up as heavily as possible. Rogue, he can transition now in towards the mid game. Show us what you got. It's still very chaotic early game. We have to rebuild the Queens. We have an earlier Bailey Nest. We have a delayed Lair and a delayed Evo Chamber. So a very safe build unless the plan here is the Bane Bust. Show us what you got. Lings are amassing. Lings are messing up.
Additional supply depots required.
ByuN, he almost gets caught. Sims into the mineral line. Very nice positioning. And he can do it again. Lair starts up. Rogue is not going for a Bane Bust. So he's not going for the Bane Bust. This Bane Nest in the end was a bit of a waste. It's an early tech structure, which could have been a faster Lair or could have been earlier Evo Chambers. This is ideal against like a Hell Battle in. I mean, ByuN is pushing. He's moving out with the Sim timing, and it's going to be a very tough hold here for Rogue. Rogue is racing back home. He'll have defensive Banelings at least. They're going to be slow Banes. Here they come. 7 Banelings. And they should not connect. So here comes ByuN. Yeah, ByuN slips in. Nice target firing. Gets 2. There's 5 Banelings left. Down to 4. Yeah, 4 Banelings remaining. Queens are exposed. Down to 3, down to 2, down to 1. Some of them do connect. Yeah, we get a handful of Baneling connections, and Rogue does hold. Whew. Rogue defense. He's holding on. Behind this, ByuN has the superior economy, but there's no third CC. Yeah, very late third CC here for ByuN. Again, I feel like the late third base is in response to the late third base of his opponents, but Rogue had a third. So as the game goes on, it's getting better and better for Rogue. ByuN is more committed. How many Banelings? 5. Yeah, only 5 Banelings. ByuN now confirms. Now finds the base. Finds the expansion. Nice target firing. Oh my god, catching every single Baneling. Yeah, Banelings getting caught out. There's 3 Banelings left. Down to 2. Down to 1. We have 1 Baneling back. Yay. But the Marine count isn't quite here. Yeah, there's not many Marines, so Rogue should hold on. Despite that, ByuN trades very efficiently. Catching up more Zerglings. Jesus. Again, there's not much creep threat here either. Nice target firing. Once again, Baneling's going down. There's 1 Baneling left, and we're just reinforcing. Yeah, ByuN is going for the kill, going for the throat. Down to 3 Banelings. Now there's a second tank, and this is very quickly snowballed out of control. Just snowballed out of control. Nice target firing. 0 Banelings left, and with that, ByuN, he overwhelms the army. Breaks the Queens. GG gets called, and ByuN takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. As we mentioned, Rogue had a very shaky start when it comes to the early game defense. The Reapers were insane when it came to catching out 2 Queens and catching out, was it 38 or 39? I'll say like 38 Zerglings for 8 Reapers. Insane damage. Rogue did have the Ninja Base, which helped 100%. The Ninja Base did help him have as close of a defense as he did. But unfortunately, when it came to his follow-up here, again, he went for the earlier Baneling Nest, he went for the later Lair. That meant that Baneling speed was delayed. Baneling speed kicked in at the end of the game, but only at the very end. By then, he had already sustained too many losses. Likewise, he was just being outscaled by ByuN. To be fair, ByuN was quite committed himself because of the lack of third CC, but the efficiency of the bio army with +1, with Stim, with combat shields proved to be too much. GG. GG, well played. With that, ByuN takes the lead in the series, and now we're loading the game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. just go as spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Mothership. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Shalvar Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the red Zerg for Team Falcons. It is Rogue. Here we go. As we're settling into game number 2. Once again, ByuN going for the low ground at Raxes. Now, I didn't really get to focus on the build opener of ByuN last game, just because we were just talking about Rogue's current state of play, if you recall. But ByuN last game did go 3 Rax Reaper, which was even more committed than usual. Much more committed, much more aggressive. This time, we're expecting 2 Rax. We're expecting 2 Rax Reaper here on the low ground. With this, ByuN can be active, he can be assertive, he can delay the third base. That will be the goal. The goal is to delay the third base, to contain the Zerg player, and then to transition into a stim timing thereafter. Now this can turn into a 3cc 3-rax, this can turn into a 3-rax timing, sorry, 3cc 2-on-1, it can even turn into a 4-rax 2-base all-in. ByuN, he does have many variations after the 2-rax Reaper, with a 3rd rax, with a 4th rax, with an armory, with hellbats, with a 3rd TC. We'll see where ByuN takes us. Rogue, he will be going for the Overlord Scout towards the left-hand side, does go for the horizontal scout, and will not find ByuN. As a result, he will also not see the Raxes on the low ground. So Rogue is playing blind. Rogue does go hatch gas pool. Sorry, hatch pool gas, I should say. Okay, slightly earlier spawning pool out of Rogue. That does often lead to earlier queen production. Interesting. So we do have an earlier second queen, or just an earlier set of queens. This is going to impact the link speed timing, as we do have later saturation with the gas. Oh, and usually we build up to only 3 Reapers, but no, this time I think it's going to be only 2. So very light commitment here from ByuN, as ByuN does find Rogue. Does find him, gets into the middle line. Remember, there are no Zerglings here. There were 2 that were made. But they're scouting across the map. Gets one drone. Very nice start. 1 drone goes down, Spore as well. Second Reaper has Rider. Remember, it's a 2 Reaper opener. Only 2 Reapers, then bam, into a very fast reactor, very fast tech lab, and into a very fast 3rd Rax as well. A strong 3-rax stim timing here behind this hyper aggression out of ByuN. This is going to hit early, and the Overlord should confirm. Yeah, Rogue, he does see the 3rd Rax. This is a little bit of an awkward position for the Rax, by the way. Like, it's a lot easier to scout here from the side of ByuN. But Rogue at least confirms, and we need to see either an earlier Roach Horn to defend. That would be the easiest way to shut this down. Otherwise, early Eva chambered into +1 carapace. Reaper gets targeted. And ByuN, he even denied the 3rd, containing Rogue on 2 bases. That's the least that he wanted, and he got it. So a strong start for ByuN. And bearing in mind that he was able to get a drone kill, able to force out a Spore Caller, able to deny the expansion with only 2 Reapers. That's what's brutal here. Now, Rogue is going for the Roach one. As we mentioned, like, this is the safest way to respond to a 3-rax, is to go into Roaches. Faster lair for Rogue as well, into faster Roach speed. A bit more tech heavy. The faster layer tells us that we might turn this into an all-in. This might not just be a defensive build. Roach all-ins can work quite well in this position. The reasoning for this is because of the fast 3rd Rax. It's a late factory and a late starport. That means late tank production and late Banshee play. So Roach all-ins can work very well, as Roaches are amassing. And again, this is all a response to the scout that we saw earlier, to the Overlord scout. But is it going to be enough? That's 21 Marines. Oh boy. Again, like, this is like one of the more efficient versions, or one of the fastest ways you can even 3-rax. Because there's only 2 Reapers. Here comes the first stim. Gets 1. Gets 1, 2 Roaches. 3 Roaches go down, there's 6 left. Down to 6, down to 5, down to 4. Ooh, and he overwhelms. He has overwhelmed the roaches here. And Rogue did overextend. Queen goes down as well. We get a very clutch hold here from Rogue. He's holding, and there's that roach speed. As we mentioned, it feels like what the plan is to go for the counterattack, to go for the all-in after defending. And Rogue, he does hold. He does hold on. ByuN is getting a bunker. He knows that he is in danger. He knows that, again, he has late tanks, like no banshees, like no defensive setup. Marauder production has begun. It's going to be a tough hold here for ByuN, because we're gearing up towards the all-in. Pure Roach Ravager. That's why we're making 4 Overlords as well, to make sure we don't get supply blocked. To make nothing but Roach Ravager, and here comes Rogue. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Luis GGG. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time. Bienvenidos, papi. Bienvenidos. /raid. Sorry. / shout out. There we go. But here comes Rogue. Again, there's at least the bunker. So far, decent engage. Marauder has arrived. ByuN is making a stand. The boys are being pulled. It looks like he will get here to repair in time. Tank is out. Tank has arrived. Ooh, bars are connecting. Yeah, bars connect. Bunker does fall. But with the arrival of the tank, ByuN is holding. He gets a Ravager. Oh, no, shot. He takes down a Ravager. There's 2 Ravagers left. Rogue is being delayed. Medevac has arrived. Now we can heal up. ByuN is tempted. He's tempted by the Ravager morphing in. He's tempted, baby. Liberator's on the way. Rogue, he starts to drone. Oh, this tells us that Rogue doesn't believe. Yeah, Rogue, he does not believe he can win this. He does not believe he can all in. Yeah, Rogue, he flinches, he pulls back, and ByuN holds. Whew, yeah, very impressive hold here. Rogue in another world with a lesser player, with another Terran, that might have just killed. That might have just killed then and there. But again, a lot of it did come down to ByuN's response, to get his bunker up and running, to start Marauder production, and to get into those tanks as quickly as possible. Whew. And now Rogue is in a rough position. Remember, Rogue was all in. Drones are late. Like, the droning, the saturation here is very late for Rogue. Ling's speed just now begins. +1 carapace just now begins. The upgrades are late. The economy is late. Everything is late here for Rogue. He was meant to end the game. And ByuN is outscaling. ByuN's getting a 3rd base up and running, and ByuN, he's getting 1/1 upgrades. A +1 attack is already done. Jumping back in. Getting a queen. Gets all the roaches. 1, 2, 3 roaches going down. Bold move here, ByuN. Getting a Ravager. Very bold move. But this is something that ByuN can do. Just abuse the fact that there's limited anti-air, right? There's no Hydrogen, there's no Spire, no Infestors. Speaking of, Infestor production just now has begun. But ByuN, he can be active like this. And we're macroing up. After a very intense early game with the initial 3x timing from ByuN and the Roach all-in from Rogue, we're slowing things down. As the game slows down, this is better for ByuN. ByuN, as a Terran player, like you... as a Zerg player, you want to be up in bases and up in workers and up in economy to be even with the Terran. That's not the case here. On top of that, the supplies are close and the soup is lying to you. Roach Ravager is an inflated army supply. We have to rely on the Fungals. Yeah, Fungals do land. Nice connections. Oof. Yeah, Wiles are connect as well. Best fight that we could hope for here for Rogue. As Rogue, he has no follow fungal, but again, strong fight. He is heavily reliant on those fungal growths. Currently, these are the only 3 infestors, and they're out of energy, so he's got to be careful. ByuN, he face checked for the fungals, and he's still pushing. I mean, wise call, because honestly, there are no fungals left. Uh-oh. Again, that was a strong fight for the Zerg, but... Oh, that's nice piles as well. 2 Medivacs go down. Dark, is that you? And ByuN is pushing in. As they do force some micro. At the same time, Lings, they do hit the third. Nicing run by, nicing counterattack. herO needs a little bit more time for those fungal growths. Tanks are pushing in. And 2 tanks do overextend. Can he get into the Ravages though? He can. Yeah, Ravages falling one after the other. Heavy losses here for herO. At the same time, Lings, they do deny mining, but GG gets called. herO is broken across the map, and ByuN will claim the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Again, unfortunately, herO, he did have those 3 infestors, but no fungals. No fungals. In the end, he was broken. He did lose all those Ravagers. Again, even though ByuN had a really rough initial fight when he took all the fungals to the face, he also made his opponent waste all those fungals. If herO had maybe 1 or 2 more infestors behind it reinforcing, then that might have been enough to hold on and to keep the game going. But without any backup infestors, GG. GG, well played. With that, ByuN, he will claim the series. He'll advance on into the finals. GG. Oh, GG, well played. ByuN, he will claim the series. Again, a very aggressive series, a very aggressive team easy that we just covered here with Rogue and ByuN. And with that, we now have our upper semis. We have our upper semis ready here. We're going to be going on a short break. The upper semis, when we come back, is going to be a PvP between herO and Classic. So the winner of this upcoming series goes up against ByuN in the finals. For now, though, we'll be going on a short break. We'll see you soon after the break with that Protoss versus Protoss matchup. See you soon. back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the semifinals. The second half of the broadcast, to be fair, to the semifinals here of the KungFu Cup 2026, week number 2. We just wrapped up with the lower semis of Rogue versus ByuN. It was a pretty fast series, really intense, very high-octane games and matches, and I'm sure that trend will continue coming into our upper semis as well. It's going to be a PvP that you should be very familiar with at this point. herO versus Classic, they face off so very often, and very often they trade back and forth. I typically lean a little bit towards herO here, but it can go either way. It can go either way here. Classic and herO, they are the top 2 Protoss players in the world, and they are often hyper aggressive in PvP. I'm ready for the cheese. I'm ready for the proxies. Oh boy. Let's go. I mean, let's go. I'll be shocked if we ever get 3 base play. It could happen. It could. Don't get me wrong. It could happen. But typically we expect 1 base all-ins, 2 base all-ins, more 1 base all-ins. That's what we expect out of these 2 players. Let's go. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the blue Protoss player, the South Korean Protoss, representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player, the South Korean Protoss for Team Virtus Pro. It is Classic. We go. Here we go. As we are going to be calming down, as we are going to be settling into our initial PvP. And once again, eyes are on our initial openers, on our initial probes as well. It's quite common to see our players open up 2 gates into a proxy pylon across the map. As of late, we have been seeing a lot of greedy play out of Classic, going for faster expansions and faster Nexi, going for like a gate cybercore opener. Both players have been willing to mix that in, so eyes are on both herO and Classic to see if we do see that in this series as well. So far, we're going to be opening up. Second gateway for Classic. Eyes are on herO, second gateway as well. Okay, so 2 gate openers all around. herO comes in with a probe scout. herO is looking for that second pylon. Is searching. And we should be seeing it in the main. No proxy. Okay, yeah, no proxy, no shenanigans. No nonsense. As Classic, he can hide his pylon here on the low ground, and looks like he will. Yeah, hides it at the natural. So fake proxy pylon at a Classic. herO goes for his own pylon in his main, bearing in mind that Classic doesn't even probe scout. This is quite risky actually, especially against herO of all players. So very risky play here by Classic. Doesn't even check what's going on. herO, he does recognize that a pylon is missing. He knows something is wrong, something is amiss. We'll see how herO reacts. Does he go for a robo on 2 bases? Does he go for a Stargate? Does he delay that expansion? That is what Classic is hoping for. Yeah, pylon on the high ground. So very safe play out of herO. Basically, this pylon should be on the low ground to set up a shield battery, to set up your expansion. The high ground pylon tells us that herO is playing very safe. herO is playing scared. And he sends out a second probe. He's looking. Yeah, he's scouting for proxies. You can see the first probe on the bottom right. Second probe is top left. herO is searching for something that doesn't exist. As we can see, Classic expands, or he's setting up for his own Nexus. Classic going to be opening up a double Stalker into a 3rd and 4th Stalker as well. So is herO. And eyes are on this worker, eyes are on the Nexus. Yeah, there's the Nexus, there's the expand. herO doing the same for the most part. Here he does also claim his natural. Ooh, Classic shoots first. Yeah, Classic with a better trade. herO gets caught out, and herO he will lose 1 Stalker. Oh no, from behind. Never mind the flank. Yeah, herO does catch him out. They trade 1-to-1. Actually, better trade for herO. Classic takes extra hits. Takes extra damage. Let's get out of here. No! Yeah, he does take extra damage. Classic's on the run. herO coming in once again to intercept. At least trying to. And Classic is in trouble. I believe there are sentries. Yeah, we have sentries as a follow-up. 2 more sentries on the way. Battery now gets thrown down. And both players open robo. Robo for Classic, robo for herO. Oh, nice hallucinations. Okay. Here he can tank a couple of volleys. But I don't see him breaking this. Yeah, I don't see him breaking. He's feigning aggression. He just throws away hallucinations. Sure, why not? Be careful. So here it does consolidate. Likewise, here shades into the main. Not bad. Gets 1, 2. Getting up to 3. Just 2. 2 probe kills, not ideal. Trades 1-to-1. 2 deaths for 2 workers. And again, we are building it from here. Both players going to their own war prisons, into their own immortal production. From here, we could just expand, claim a third, and build up into the mid game and actually slow things down. We haven't seen extra gateways yet. We haven't really seen too much of a commitment into aggression. Here we're just focusing on harass. Going for the Twilight Council, going for a later timing into Blink. Or just straight into charge, or into even Glaive Adepts. True. They do split each other. You can see here attempt to intercept. Yeah, here's in position. Classic does actually veer off towards the right hand side. Ooh, Classic, he does rotate a little bit too hard. It goes into his main base. Adepts, they do hit the natural. Gets 1. Takes down 1 probe. Meanwhile, 2 others are shaded to the natural as well. They get across the map into the natural of herO. They're on A move. Yeah, they were on A move. No target firing. Immortal into the main base, catching out 3 probes. A little bit more damage. No surprises here. There's Glaives, so it is going to be an all-in. Heroes being hyper-aggressive. Glaive Adepts do not scale well into a longer game. We can get a third base just for some saturation, but this is going to be quite committed. Oh, Classic is taking up even further into Blink. So Glaives from one, Blink from the other. Still no third base, still no expand from either player. Moving into the main. So is Classic. Here is in position in his own main base. So is Classic though. Gotta be careful. Here he wants to trade. Shields are triggered. Zones away the Stalkers. herO, a bit of an F2. He does move out across the map. He commits. He does commit across. Classic hits the main. Getting 1, 2, 3 probe kills. Oh, this is getting out of hand. Yeah, it's getting out of hand here. 5 probes going down. herO, he commits everything across the map. He's going for the all-in. Just a massive 2-base all-in from herO. This also means that these 2 Immortals are not home to defend. Yeah, Classic has less army to defend back at home. herO going for the dive. Blink is not going to be a factor. Blink is too late. Immortal goes down. Nice pickup. And then here he shades in. Yeah, he shades into the main base. He commits. He's going for the main army. The boys are being pulled. Can he get the Immortal? Oh, barely cannot. Adepts say rotates. herO pushing into the natural. Nice force field. The natural is just completely shut down. Yeah, the natural does fall for Classic. At the same time, herO, he's defending back at home. He's trying to. Oh, he's got the slow warp. He's got the slow zealot defense. Ooh. Would you get a recall? Does recall to the natural. This is only half the army. Classic, he'll lose everything. Yeah, he'll lose everything here. The Immortals get targeted down. herO, he can always micro back. He can juggle his units. He should save the Immortal. And he does. Clutch save out of herO. 41 probe kills. Across the map, herO still mining. herO can always recall. He will kill the natural. The force fields, they continue. There's the recall. And herO has a 1-base economy. Classic does not. Classic has 1 probe. There's 1 probe left. Classic is shut down. They get a very chaotic game here with almost like a base trade essentially. Glaive's never finished. Blink did, but GG gets called, and herO takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played again. A very chaotic game one here between herO and Classic. We were both kind of playing the same style, to be honest. Both herO and Classic went for the natural bases, went into the Robo follow-up, and went into the Twilight Council. Classic went Blink, herO went Glaives. The big difference, the big deciding factor was that Classic went for a counter drop across the map, and he committed into a Warpin as well. He was quite committed across the map. Meanwhile, herO, he just sent everything across. He went for the all-in. Meanwhile, Classic basically split up his army into two. Right, he had 2 Immortals and like 4 Stalkers across the map, harassing in the main base, whereas he had the rest of his army at home, whereas herO had everything together. He had everything all together, was able to break that natural, break the main. GG. GG, well played, and with that, we are now getting into game number 2, going to be loading into Mothership. Let's go. It was a base trade, but Classic was only using half his army, essentially, right? Like, So Classic's army was split, herO's was, for the most part, not. And let's go, we're loading into game number 2, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Mothership, we have the South Korean Protoss player, we have the blue Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player. The red Protoss himself, representing Virtus Pro, it is a Classic. Let's go. Let's go. As we're settling into game number 2. And from here, welcome to Mothership. Mothership is a 3-player spawn map. There are 3 possible spawn locations: bottom side, top right, or top left. Now, last game, both players were very adverse to expanding and really focusing on their economies. Here on Mothership, there are a lot of proxy locations, and oh, do you see what I see? Proxy. You can see here the rally with the probe in between top left and bottom side. So here he plans on proxying in between the bases, despite not scouting, going for a blind proxy here in the center. Here is moving in. Classic going get expand. Oh no! Classic being hyper greedy, gate into Nexus before the Cybercore, before the second gateway. Hyper greed here out of Classic, and here comes the proxy. Here comes the cheese out of herO. Now, herO doesn't know where his opponent is. Unfortunately for herO, he's set up here to push in towards the south side. He's closer to the southern spawn location, not the northern spawn location. So herO, he gambled a little bit, and he did gamble incorrectly. And is this Stargate or Robo? That's what I'm most curious by. What's it going to be? Classic does probe scout. He does confirm that a pylon is missing, and it is a Robo 1 base all in. And again, because of the RNG factor here of this map, it does mean that this proxy is going to be hitting a little bit later, but it is still favored against the build of Classic. That's the issue here, is that it is still heavily favored, as Classic is being hyper greedy, and a 1 base all in is the good response, is the response to this. It's the ideal response. And herO confirms, yep. Here he confirms the Nexus, confirms the timing of the Stargate. herO should be feeling good about this. Should be feeling good. He's now rallying across the map. Classic, he knows something is wrong. He doesn't know what exactly is being proxied. Technically, this could be a proxy Stargate, proxy Robo, proxy Gateway, proxy Twilight Council. There are different options available to herO. And we should be seeing Void Ray first. Yeah, Void Ray's on the way, getting safety batteries. Classic preparing for the worst. He's trying to prepare for the worst. herO does nice and mining. Does an eye. Prism is on the way. This is the correct response going for the Forge. If you've been watching Max Packs as of late, because your production is so limited as a defending player, because you only have 1 gateway, the Forge and defensive cannons does help quite a bit. That is the most recent kind of variation of defense. Prism does take a lot of damage. So far, so good for Classic. He is holding on. Meanwhile, here come the Warpins. Here with 3 gates. Again, he wants that Void Ray. Nice juggling, nice control. He can micro back. He can micro back. Void Ray taking a lot of hits. Ooh, bit of miscontrol there out of herO. Yeah, it does miscontrol. One Stalker goes down. That should not have happened. Second Void Ray does arrive, and herO is deflected. So again, some messy micro out of herO. Did lose the Stalker. Batteries are finishing. Cannon as well. herO, does he have enough anymore? Oh. Better control. Okay, now hero's locked in. Now he's locked in. Nice micro. Rotates into the main. This is the advantage here of having the War Prism. You can go back and forth. And Classy doesn't see. No, he doesn't see. He doesn't see the rotation. Classy, he commits here so hard into cannons and shield batteries, and none of this stack defense is going to help. It's all at the natural, not the main. And we kept the production. We kept the production. One Void Ray goes down. He gets one. He's going for the other. Pulling back, trying to bait the Void Rays with out of range of the batteries. Boys are being pulled. Desperation out of Classic. And getting desperate. Once again, nice juggling, nice control. Does micro back. Doesn't lose any Stalkers. Going for the Warpin as well. Void Rays are low. Yeah, the Void Rays are low. Ooh, one Void Ray goes down. There's one Void Ray left. GG gets called, and herO, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Again, Classic, he was doing everything correct given his position, given the fact that he was being greedy, he was cutting corners, he did end up going for the Forge into cannons, and you saw he had, what was it, like 4 shield batteries and 3 cannons on the low ground. Like, he had so much stack defense committed at the natural. But one of the advantages of going for a fast War Prism is you can rotate, right? You can rotate back and forth, and we saw that herO, he was able to slip into the main base, and Classic had no vision. He had no vision, he had no spotter pylon in the main base, or he didn't see the rotation to the top side, and herO was able to break through, avoiding all that side defense. GG. If that wasn't the case, if herO was denied, by the way, if he was denied the drop into the main and forced to push into the natural, there's a very high chance that Classic defends. There's a very high chance that Classic holds, defends, shuts it down, and then we see a game 3, right? We see an ace match instead. But GG. GG, well played. With that, we do have our grand finals here. It's going to be a best of 5 between herO and ByuN. Let's go. Let us go. Sorry, just setting up our players, setting up our matches. Bam. Dude. Are you going to stream the live KungFu Cup shortly? No. No. Starting next week, I believe Daylight Savings does hit Australia soon. And starting next week, we should be able to cast KungFu Cup live. Starting next week. As that is when we do have daylight savings, but otherwise spawning in the bottom right hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Terran player. The red Terran player himself representing Shop Rebellion. It is ByuN. Here we go again. We made it here to the grand finals here of our KungFu Cup week number 2 of our TVP. But yes, for those who are curious, and I'm sure Cyclones is aware, but I say next week, in a couple of days, daylight savings is going to hit Australia. Currently, KungFu Cup is live at 10 p.m. my time, but starting next week, it should be live at 9 p.m. So it should be starting a little bit earlier, which is a lot better. It's a much better start time. It does allow for earlier casts and an earlier end to the cast as well. So starting next week, for the past couple of months, we've been replay casting WarDTV Mondays and replay casting KungFu Cups. But starting next week, we should be going into live casting all those events again. We should be able to live cast WarD Mondays, KungFu Cups. Those are the 2 that come to mind. But in general, just make it a little bit easier to cover those events. Make it easier. Yeah. ByuN's like, get out of here. Leave me alone, baby. Leave me alone. Smooch. ByuN, who was going for a fake proxy Rax, but he gets found. Yeah, he gets found. hero's laughing about it. Z, baby. Oh no! We're gonna surround. Nice pick up here. herO gets surrounded. ByuN's like, you're an animal, baby. What are you doing? Get out of here. You reap what you sow. Again, with ByuN and herO, good friends. Good friends. Bit of banter here in the early game. From here again, economic open out of ByuN, going Rax into CC into a delayed factory. herO back at home just going for a gate, Cyber into... Oh, that's not normal. That's an early Stargate. Okay, Stargate opener before the expand. Bold move. Bold move here by herO. Thankfully, he's keeping the Reaper busy. He has to keep the Reaper busy and make sure he doesn't scout. Zilla does tie up the Reaper here in the center of the map. Adept is on the way. Oh, the micro, the control. Up, up. Gets a couple of swipes in. Zella should eventually go down. Does fall, and the Adept does make its way across the map here. Will hit the main. And does the Reaper turn around? He gets in. Wait, what? Oh, that should not have happened. That should not have happened. He gets into the main base. He delays the CC. Yeah, kills the worker. Reaper does race back home, which means no scout of the Stargates. Ay, ay, ay. Everything goes wrong here for ByuN. Fails to surround. We'll lose another SCV. Losing 1, 2, 3 SCV kills. Not like this. Not like this. Finally gets us around, but this is critical damage already. 3 workers and a delay, and the Reaper race back home, which means ByuN doesn't scat anything. And here comes the Oracle. The Oracle is coming. What is it to defend that shoots up? We got 3 Marines. And thankfully there's a Cyclone. Okay, thankfully there's a safety Cyclone. Cyclone will defend. Oracle gets into the main. Gets 1, gets 2, gets up to 3. 2. 2 SCVs, spots the Cyclone, respects it. Oh no, he's too close. Yeah, it's too close to the edge. And with that, the Oracle is going to be thrown away. Massive pickup here. herO does slip up. So we have a back and forth. We have a back and forth. ByuN did lose a lot of workers here at the start of the game. ByuN losing 5 SCVs, but herO losing that first Oracle is a brutal start. This was a big investment here by herO, bearing in mind he delayed Twilight Council, he delayed Blink for this. A delayed Blink for these Oracles. And delayed his economy, remember, as well. It was a Stargate before Nexus. As herO pokes in, pulls away. Stalker's moving out. Because Blink is so late, we just skip Blink. We just skip Blink, going into Charge instead. Going into early Zealots. With this, herO can attempt to overwhelm the Natural. Can attempt. Getting a faster third. I believe this is off of how many? Okay, 3 gates. So 3 gate charge into a third. Greedier third base timing. Oh, going into... Okay, we're just getting chaotic here. We're just a bit of everything. Going for a Dark Shrine follow-up. I do like this. I mean, DTs, they have a lot of potential. They can be shut down completely, or they can just overwhelm. A lot of it comes down to whether or not ByuN scouts, and whether or not ByuN has a scan available. True. As the Oracle is thrown away, ByuN is pushing. Yeah, ByuN is moving out across the map. He's going to be reinforcing. A couple of boys are being pulled. ByuN commits. I mean, I do like this. Currently, herO is vulnerable. He's exposed. Oracle spots the army. There's Revelation. herO pokes in, and he might get a Marine. Not quite. Not quite. Does get bullied back. Charge is done, but not many Zealots. He's going for it. He has to try. Gets to the Marines. Massive tank shots here on the sentry. First tank is going to be targeted down. Gets 1. Yeah, just barely 1 Stalkers. They do pull away out of range of the tank. Very mature play, very disciplined play here by herO. Yeah, pulls back, respects the tank, waits for another warp in. There's not many Marines left over. Nice spread with here with the Stalkers. Nice spread. Does take down the Cyclone. It's getting close. Yeah, it's getting close. There is a scan available. Does force a bit of friendly fire. 1 DT goes down. We have 1 across the map. ByuN slowly pushing it. I believe there should be 1 more scan. Yep, there it is. Doesn't get a swipe off. I think that was it there. Only 2 scans. Yeah, only 2. Only 2 scans here. DT goes in. We'll clean everything up. Boys are being pulled as well. Another DT moves in. So much damage here. Getting one of the tanks. Yeah, gets one. Not getting the other as well. And herO holds. It's going to cost him every single probe there. herO, pull away. He has to pull away. 16 probe kills. Across the map here, he's nice mining at the natural. It doesn't kill workers, but ByuN is oversaturated in the main. He's oversaturated. And ByuN will lose this army. He was not able to reinforce. He was stuck at home. Denies the turret. And again, ByuN, he has no more pushing power here. He has no more pushing power. They'll say clean up the army. They collapse on in. GG gets called. The all-in fails. And herO, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. That was a very intense game 1. That was very intense here. Again, critical that herO went for the Dark Shrine. We saw that scans were limited. Scans were limited, and DTs, they barely held on there for herO. Not just that, but even before the Dark Templar, I was very impressed that herO, he was able to collapse in, get the first tank, and immediately just pull away. Just pull away, back off, preserve his units, buy more time for the Dark Templar, buy more time for the Dark Shrine, and barely was able to hold on, and of course counterattack as well. Again, scans were very limited there for ByuN, and did eventually run out. GG. GG, well played. It's one of those things where DTs can actually work really well against 2 base all-ins, because when your opponent's going for an all-in, they don't have a 3rd CC, and they want to be muling. Because they're all-in, their economy is very limited, they want to mule as much as they can, so scans are always going to be very limited for the player that is all-in. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be loading into game number 2, going to be loading into the Old Republic. Let's go. Let us go. So we're loading into game number 2. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss, we have the South Green Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Green Terran player. We have the Red Terran. We have the Red Terran player himself representing Shelf Rebellion. It is ByuN. Let's go. Let us go. We are settling into game number 2. And we'll see how our players do adjust. Again, last game was wild from here. Remember, how did it begin? He went for a Stargate before Nexus, into Oracle, into Charge, then into DTs, into a fast 3rd. Like, it was it was a very chaotic game there from herO. ByuN, he had a bit of a shakier start when it came to the early game defense against the Adepts. He had a stronger follow-up against the Oracles, and then he just went for the 2-base all-in, but unfortunately he was shut down by those Dark Templar. It was still very close, though. It was still very clutch. With that, we can settle in. Settle in. Here we're going to be going for a much more standard opener this time, going for a gate expand into the Cybercore, much more standard here by herO. Meanwhile, ByuN likewise going for his own single gas opener, Rax expand. So both players playing economically. We have more economic starts, a higher chance here as we load into the Old Republic that we load into a longer macro game. 10,000 feet has a very short rush distance by ground. 10,000 feet is known for all-ins. That was game 1. Here on the Old Republic, it's a larger map, longer rush distance by ground. We often do see mid-game play. A lot of mid-game here on the Old Republic. ByuN does scout for proxies, just in case. ByuN does not SCV scout. No need. I mean, I say no need. Against herO, I feel like there is a bit of a need. As once again, Stargate opener out of herO. Okay, this time it's Stargate after the Nexus, so this is still a more economic build compared to last game, but still going for the Stargate nonetheless. This is quite rare. If you know anything about PvT, Stargate openers are a rare sight nowadays. They used to be all the meta, right? Like back in 2021, 2022, Phoenix Colossus was a thing. to many players and maybe many casters dismayed, to be honest. Like, like we saw Phoenix Colossus every single game, going Phoenix opener into a Robo, into Bay, into Colossus to kind of secure yourself getting into the mid game. That was the go-to for a long time. But again, that did kind of get phased out of the meta. That became less viable. Terran players became more aggressive. It became less safe to go Stargate, and I still will say it's less safe, but on a larger map like this, it's more viable, right? It's more viable on Winter Madness, Old Republic, Celestial Enclave. It is a little bit safer. One of the reasons why last game ByuN went for the 2-base all-in is because of the initial Stargate play from herO, as the all-ins are meant to be stronger against it. Meant to be. Twilight Council follow-up, a higher chance it goes into charge, but we could see Blink. Oracle moves out. I believe ByuN did spots at Oracle. Oracle does veer off. I say he saw it. Maybe not. It's because ByuN, he moves out across the map with the army. There's nothing at home. There's one Marine. No, no shot. There's one Marine to defend. ByuN moves out. The Oracle does catch him with his pants down. SCV's going to be falling. Getting one, getting two SCVs, denying mining. Getting a third SCV as well. Ay, ay, ay. I think he can even fight this. Yeah, he can just fight the Marines. Doesn't quite get the Marine though. Drop across the map. Stalker is somewhat in position. Trying to bait out the mine shot. Nice target find. Gets one, gets two. Oof. And 2 probe kills, but the army will be cleaned up. Getting a 3rd probe towards the end. ByuN just getting as much as he can out of this. But this was a better trade for herO. Here he defends well. ByuN, he lost the Marines, the Widowmine, and the medevac for 3 probes. herO can now move out. And herO has gained map control. He's gained map control, is free to expand. So a shaky start for ByuN. Again, I don't blame him for moving out. Like, it's quite rare to have these Oracle-based openers. So ByuN's been caught with his pants down. Lock-on is broken. Nice control by herO. Kiting back. Going for the lift. He's going for the Cyclone. Does get it. Yeah, Cyclone goes down. Nice pickup. And takes on the Cyclone. Doesn't quite push into the tank. Not quite. Oh, ByuN going for 2 more Raxes. Oh. So seeing a 5, he gets scattered as well. Here he sees more Raxes. A 5 rack setup on 2 bases is usually indicative of 2 base all-ins. Often we'd see a 3rd CC by now. I say often, not always, as yep, herO confirms. Goes further in. He just parks the Oracle on top of the Raxes, just showing ByuN that he knows what he sees. Oh, God. Tank is exposed. Marines out of position. Ay, ay, ay. One more volley. Tank goes down. Massive pickup. Now, what's scary here is that as ByuN is losing tanks, that is going to be weakening any kind of timing he was hoping for. Which means now there's a higher chance that we see a 3rd CC. As ByuN is bleeding out too much. Oracle gets 2 SCVs. Pulls away. Blink is done. We can dive on Stim. No shot. Can he get it? 2 more volleys. 2 more volleys and Stim is going to be denied. Massive pickup. Ay, ay, ay. Deny Stim. And ByuN can't move out. Yeah, he cannot move out. He's stuck in the main. GG. Yeah, GG gets called. The plan was to 2-base all-in, but the 2-base all-in completely fails, and herO takes a 2-0 lead in the series. Ay, ay, ay. GG, well played. Again, ByuN, he was torn apart. So winding it back, ByuN, he had the tools to defend, but remember, because of the Oracle, because the Oracle was in the main base, that distracted all of the bio army from ByuN. ByuN was chasing the Oracle, which means the tank was exposed. herO moved in, sniped the tank, pulled away, had high ground vision, blinked into the main, sniped Stim, and we mentioned it, with the 5-rack setup, ByuN was meant to be hyper aggressive, but to lose the tank and to lose Stim, I mean, how do you be aggressive? Like, what can you do? GG. GG, well played. herO just pulling ByuN apart early on here, with some quirky builds as well. Remember, all of this was off of an Oracle opener. All over the Stargate, all off of the Oracle, which is very abnormal. Like, the meta is Blink, right? The meta is Twilight Council into Blink, into a 3-base setup, but we've seen none of that here from herO. Blink is a follow-up, sure, but That was a follow-up. So again, a lot of diverse play out of herO, and ByuN has been having a hard time keeping up with that diversity, with that flexibility that herO's been showing off. And show us what you got this time. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the South Green Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Terran player. We have the South Green Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. Let's go. Let us go. So we're getting to our next matchup as we're getting into game number 3 here. And we're hoping for a back and forth, but welcome to White Rabbits. White Rabbit is a larger map of the map pool. Larger map, longer rush distance by ground. We do often see longer games on this map. I say that it's a bit of a mixed bag. Something that does allow for more aggressive builds is the ramp coming into the natural. Very commonly, we do see the ramp a little bit closer to the bases, but because the ramp is a little bit further to the center and it's quite wide as well, we have seen many 2-base all-ins get up this ramp, commit, and wedge themselves in between the natural and the third location, whichever third gets taken. So we have seen some successful all-ins here. It can work. ByuN does open up double gas. For the first time this series, double gas opener. So getting a second gas geyser, going for a faster factory, going for a delayed CC, ByuN mixes it up. herO does confirm this. Back at home here, just going for a gate expand into Cybercore. Standard economic start out of herO. I feel like herO should not be opening up with a Stargate this time. There's a higher chance that we could be seeing, like, say, sure a Mind Drop play, but this can also lead into earlier Cyclones and committed Cyclone play as well. herO, he has to be careful. Nada. I think that was an admin. Hello, herO. As herO does hide his probe. Ah, he's next to the lab bot. Let's go. But does hide his worker, going in for a rescout, getting confirmation of the CC. The goal is to avoid the Reaper, and he did. Did avoid the Reaper. Stalker is now out. Can ByuN kill a probe? Gonna be zoned back. Gonna be zoned away. herO confirms the CC. Attempts to disrupt. So we do have our add-ons on the way. So reactor on the racks, a tech lab on the factory. A second Reaper was made. If there wasn't a second Reaper, then we could have seen a bigger delay on the command center. And there's your early Cyclone. As we mentioned, higher chance of Cyclone play. herO does not go Stargate. For the first time this series, Twilight Council. Twilight Council open out of herO, playing more standard. Working towards Blink. And the question becomes, how many gateways? Is it 2-gate Blink, a 3-gate Blink, or 4-gate Blink Stalker? I feel like 4-gate Blink is awkward here, and I spoke too soon. That's no Blink, Pop. He's going for a charge. Ay, ay, ay. So going for early charge like this is ideal if you believe your opponent's going to be aggressive. If you remember, we saw early charge in game 1 on 10,000 feet. Oh, looks like there was a bit of a pause. Looks like there was a bit of a lag out. But we saw charge on 10,000 feet for the very reason that herO believed that ByuN would be hyper aggressive. Same rationale here as well. If ByuN pushes out, if ByuN is assertive here, he will be punished. There's a bit of a give and take. These charge-based openers, the downside of this kind of build is your lack of map control and your lack of your lack of anti-air. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. So drop play and counterattacks, Ravens, Banshees, any kind of air-based play is more effective here, just because there are no Blink Stalkers and there are no Phoenixes either. So that is something that ByuN has at his disposal. But on the flip side of things, with Mass Zealot, that's designed to charge, to dive on an army, to break a siege line as well. It can be used to shut down an early push, but it can also be used to break the natural. Oh boy. Temple Archives is on the way. Is there a Robo? Yes, there is. If we go for a Prism after this, then the goal should be to hit with, like, what, 1 or 2 Archons and Mass Zealot. We're expecting aggression here. Yep, there it is. Here comes the Prism. We're going for the early timing. So the plan here should be to warp in as many zealots as possible and to warp in the Archons as the army pushes out across the map. The Archons are built to tank the first tank volley, and then bam, you just overwhelm. Now, what has ByuN seen? ByuN has been somewhat active. I don't believe he's seen the Zealots, though. I believe he's only seen these Stalkers. So ByuN is playing blind. The correct thing to do against his style is just turtle up. Throw down a second depot. Sorry, a second bunker. Like a second bunker, depots, wall up here on 2 bases, slowly get a third, and just be hyper defensive. Oh, as herO, my apologies. I assumed that he would be warping in Zealots, but no, he's actually skipping warp-ins. He's going for a Storm Drop. Okay. Does go for the Storm Drop. This is very different. Yeah, Forge is on the way, +1. herO is expanding. He is teching. herO is building up into the mid-game. For now, ByuN is stuck at home. And we'll see how quickly he reacts. We're still waiting for Storm. Storm is being chronoed. It might work out here if ByuN pushes. We'll see. For now, ByuN, he's being active. Here comes the Storm. First Storm in the middle line, second Storm in the army. Sorry, on the SCVs, I should say. 2 SCV kills, no major damage. Good reactions by ByuN. So far, good reactions. Now, what I just mentioned here is that I do think that this will benefit ByuN to just push. The reason for this is because Storm was just spent, and herO has been teching and been building up into a longer game. Here comes ByuN. Yeah, ByuN is moving out. What is it to defend? There's, 4 High Templar. There's plenty of defensive Storms. This is risky. This is very risky. Lock on to the first Templar. Ooh, Templar goes down. Nice pickup, nice snipe. That was worth it. 3 Storms left. 1 Storm does graze the army. We see ByuN trying to get on top of the high ground. Another Storm does land. Ooh, better Storm. But I believe that was all we had left. Yeah, those are the only Storms. With that, Mine Shots here on the Prism. Ooh, doesn't quite connect. Massive Storm here on the ByuN army. Yeah, Storm goes off. 1 tank left. It's still so close. The tank barely goes down. Takes down the tank. The ByuN army does stim in. And ByuN, has he done it? He's going for the pylon. Warp-in does complete. Just barely. Boys are being pulled. And it looks like herO is barely holding on here. Oh, he chuggles the units. Yeah, it does micro back. The Immortal comes in to reinforce. And it was a very clutch hold. Very close. But herO does survive. He survives, baby. Behind this, there is thankfully a 3rd CC. So 3rd CC is on the way. ByuN dropping into the main. Again, it was a very messy engage here from both players. Very close. herO does defend. ByuN, he wants those High Templar. He wants them. Stims in. Yeah, does stim in. Templar saved. Templar barely saved. ByuN pushing through the center, still being hyper aggressive. Okay, now calming down. Does calm down, does turn around. As the Storm drops, they continue. This time a little more successful. Earlier getting 2 SCVs, this time getting 8. And even catching damage here on the main army. Oh no! Can he get away? Doesn't. Massive pickoff. That was not worth it. Sure, he gets 9 SCVs, but that was 4 Templar. 4 Templar going down. The Prism as well. We're getting messy. We're getting very messy here. Both players taking losses. ByuN, his economy is hurting. At the same time, herO's army is hurting. ByuN, he pushes out. herO going for the backstab. herO does hit the 3rd. Denies mining. ByuN keeps pushing. As there isn't much of him to defend. And there are some defensive ghosts. I do think there's an opening here. There was an opening, but ByuN turns around. Distracted by the zealots. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, ByuN turns around. This zealot ammo was worth it. Just buying time. Distracting the army. And forcing ByuN all the way back home. He was just outside of the third, by the way. He was just outside, now forced back. herO is given time to respond. He has 6 High Templar. He has plenty of storms. Now hero's in position. Oh. Losing 1 Templar. 1 Templar is thrown away. ByuN commits in. Now we have Colossus. I believe there are no Vikings. 2. So the 2 Vikings. EMP doesn't quite connect. Nice snipe on the High Templar. Very nice snipe. Ooh, feedback though. EP lands. There's 1 storm. That's the only one. Oh, it does land. Only 1 storm does land on the army. ByuN's going to be forced back. And herO barely defends. Yeah, barely does hold on. And what's scary here is he's building up the Colossus count. Working on range. Working on the second Colossus. ByuN's trying to keep up. Building on more ghosts, switching to Viking production. As ByuN makes his way across. Getting on top of the high ground. Okay, ByuN does that position. Yeah, herO completely out of position. He's on the low ground. EMP lands 1 High Templar. Still 2 Templar left. Still a couple of storms. ByuN pivots away. Let's pivot away, getting a second starport. We're finally getting into a longer game. So far, this series has been very fast, very short, very aggressive. And this game has also been aggressive, but now we're getting to 4 bases. 4 base setup here for herO. ByuN also working towards a 4th base as well. Players are expanding. herO working on a 5th. As herO, he does bypass the main army. Oh, it's going to be his turn to get up the ramp. Zealous distract on the right-hand side. They do distract. ByuN's main army pushes in. Meanwhile, herO, he does find himself up the ramp. ByuN has to respond. It's a cancel. Big pickup. Cancels the 4 CC. So nice pickup here by herO. He pulls away. herO going back in. This time ByuN is in position. Main army is about to clash. Yeah, sorry, ByuN does have a healthy Viking count. He's got his 4 ghosts. Has to land those EMPs, speaking of. Does land 1. Yeah, lands 1 EMP, lands the other as well. And ByuN should collapse in. Yeah, he will. Does clean up the entire army, catching out the Colossus, catching out the Immortals. Very nice fight here for ByuN. But there's a second army. There is a second army. ByuN, he does have momentum. Does feedback. Storm zones. Just buying more time. ByuN has a terrifying army here. Very Marauder heavy. Storm zones. High Templar gets thrown away. Oh no, no storm. Yeah, a bit of miscontrol there from herO. Nice EMP. Cashing out the Templar. There's what, 2 Templar left. There's still another storm. Storm of the Vikings. How about ByuN stims in? Yeah, ByuN, he stims and he wins. He breaks on through. There's not enough splash damage. No more Colossus. No more storms. He can just stim in. He can A move and he will. And with that, we have a series. We have a series. We have a back and forth. But he breaks the main army, forces the recall. ByuN, he can just keep pushing. There are 2 Colossus though. Wait, did we lose it? He lost the Vikings. ByuN, he did lose all his Vikings. So the Colossus will allow herO to survive. Okay, here he's holding on. He's surviving. Getting +1 air attack. Okay, interesting. herO thinking about Sky Toss? I don't think this is the time. I don't we're down in supply. We're barely holding on. I don't know if we can really afford Sky Toss, Pappy. Sure. Okay. Now is not the time. But can we land a storm? Yeah, ByuN is over simmed. Goes for a bit of run by. Doesn't quite find damage. This is such a risky move here from herO. I don't know if you noticed, but herO, he isn't actually spending his money. Like herO, he's not making any units from his robos, intentionally so. He's waiting for the fleet peak and he can start the mothership. Oh, the EMPs. EMPs land. EMPs do land. herO has to pull away. There it is. Tempest production has begun. Like, this is a big gamble here from herO. It's a big risk, a big gamble. He intentionally, again, was saving up resources for the Tempest switch. Now, the problem that I have, I don't see this working, by the way. The problem that I have is that going for a Sky Toss transition is usually done when the Terran player has a high Liberator count. Just because when the Terran player goes into more Liberators, it means that they have a more stationary army, right? It's a little bit more siege-based, if you will. Here, it's very mobile. We have Marine, Marauder, Ghost, Viking. It's a very mobile composition. I don't really think Tempest have a lot of value here. Like, they can get the first volley off, that's true. But ByuN's army is built to dive. It's built to stim in. And there won't be a way for Tempest to kite away against that. Like, Tempest are ideally, like, when it comes to these slower siege kind of positions. But ByuN has a very active army. Tempest are revealed. And Tempest are revealed. Nice, very nice storm. Okay. Storm does land. Tempest going to be moving in. And again, they can shell away at the army. Mothership is on the way. That I do like a lot more. Mothership, of course, does allow to recall. Can even aggressively recall. You're giving chase. His High Templar are clumped. Gotta be careful. Very clumped Templar. He's gonna flip. No! Ooh, EP lands. It does land. Still a couple storms remaining. Does run away. At the same time, nice little run by. hero's pushing in. It does land the slow zone. Templar pushing in. Shows those storms. Ooh, as herO does link forward. Storm does zone away. We got two more storms left. EP lands. Another storm. Massive storm in the army. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, God. The storms are brutal. Yeah, and ByuN his army's just crumbling. Crumbling before the storms. Not like this. ByuN does counterattack. Not bad. Takes down a base. herO pushes in. He's got, what, 2 storms left? We got 2 storms remaining. As the EMP does land with 1 High Templar. We still have those 2 storms. Tempest picking away at the army. Does move in. Again, we built up to what? 6? 7 Tempest. Oh my god. He has made his way into 7 Tempest. EMP lands on 1 High Templar. Again, there's still a couple more left. Gotta be careful. Tempest are dancing with the army, getting a couple free shots off. Kills the Nexus, or kills the CC. ByuN going for the backstab. That means ByuN's gonna be defending with half his army. Oh, he turns around. Yeah, it turns around for the flank instead. ByuN, where are we going? What's the plan? I'm still worried about the High Templar clubbing up the way they are. I'm still speaking of, no, massive EMP connects. Takes down every single High Templar. Army collapsed in, coming in from behind, coming in with the surround. And here he gets caught out. He has to get the hell out of here. He clumped up his army. Cloak does try to help. Nice slow zone. Can he get out of this? Nah, not quite. Yeah, Tempers are falling one after the other. Here he plummets in supply. One bad fight, Pappy. I say that there's not much anti-air. Yeah, nice storm. Very nice storm here on the Marauders. There's not much anti-air. This is it, just 4 ghosts. The Tempest versus Ghost. There's only 4 ghosts left. Down to 2. Oh no. Down to 1. 1 ghost remaining. Marauders, they can't shoot up. They cannot shoot up, Pappy. The Tempest, they hold. Ay, ay, ay. Just lay on your back, Pappy. Point up. Oh, no. And here he's holding on. The Tempests are paying off. They're barely paying off, Pappy. Behind this, economies are very, very close here. Again, there's not really much going on. We have, what, 2 bases for ByuN. herO does retain center left. Does retain a fresh mining base. Did end up losing bottom right. Now the Zealot run by. Zealot's head back in. Any Vikings? We have 9. Clearly, the Tempest hard kind of goes. Got that Marines. It's less about the Marines, it's more about the Vikings. Like, we need those Vikings to build up, and now ByuN has built up to 9 Vikings. So his anti-air is much more secure, assuming he keeps them alive. ByuN moving in. As he moves in, Zealot right here on the right-hand side. Does hit the 3rd. And not bad. ByuN, he turns around. Yeah, he turns around back home. This is just giving herO more time to build up more High Templar. He's got 6 Templar back at home. This is very bold. herO, what's going on? Does end a storm. Jesus. Does end a massive storm. 13 SCVs go down. Not bad. But again, herO's main army here is still very fragile. It's a very lean army for herO. Very lean. Ideally, you want Zealots to buffer, Archons, Stalkers. You need that gateway supportive army. As we have another Zealot run by. This time ByuN is in position. He has units ready. Ghost does come in. Once again going for the EP. Ooh, doesn't miss. Oh, does land. Does miss, I meant to say. Jesus, I'm all over the place. Does miss, doesn't connect. EMP on the main army, but the High Templar are safe. herO does somewhat split. Somewhat. Losing a Tempest. Yeah, 1 Tempest goes down. Again, in the main fight, herO, he will take this. Sorry, I'm going to say ByuN will take this. God. I did not sleep enough today. Massive storm. But again, ByuN has a massive army lead, and ideally he wants to dive on the Tempest, but not quite able to. Going to be zoned away by the storm. Zoned away by the storm. ByuN, he just wants to commit. herO's army slowly getting larger, but herO, he's so heavily reliant on storm and now soon to be disruptors, right? Heavily reliant. Ghost moves in. No detection. Massive EMP of the High Templar, getting every single Templar. 0 storms left. Never goes off. Doesn't quite connect either. ByuN should have enough. I say that we have reinforcing High Templar. Okay. Reinforcing Templar. Does barely reinforce in time. Turning back ByuN. And again, hero's been defending with the bare minimum for so long. It's impressive. Recalls to the right. That means the top left is going to be exposed. And ByuN should bring it down. He should bring down the expansion. He'll save one or the other. Oh, nice EMPs. Cashing out all 3 High Templar. And ByuN has done it. Like, at this point, ByuN, he has done it. Has broken the main army, broken the economy. I mean, herO, again, he's been barely holding on for the past 5 minutes, and it's been impressive that he has held on, but he has no pushing power. He has no main army. There's not much left over for herO, and we should have a series here. GG gets called. ByuN, he fights back. He puts a point on the board. Whew. GG. GG, well played. herO, I mean, we had a very intense back and forth here. herO, he was able to hold his own for a long time, but there were a couple of key moments, and you saw them. It happened 2 or 3 times where ByuN would cloak his ghost, move in, there was no observer with the main army, he would slip past, and then mass EMP the ghost. Happened 2, maybe 3 times in that game. It was brutal every single time, and whenever that happened, that's when ByuN could take the fight and could overwhelm herO. The first time that happened, that was the moment when ByuN was able to gain a momentum and gain the supply lead. Before that, it was much closer, much more back and forth, until those key moments, of course, until those ghosts went in and shut down the Templar. GG. GG, well played. Both times that was on herO, no detection. No detection, no observer with the main army, was punished time and time again. GG, well played. We get a very intense back and forth. ByuN does put a point on the board, and now we're getting into game number 4. Let's go. Let us go. Templar sucks so much now? Not at all. The Templar had some really strong moments, actually. If you saw, like, the storms were insane. As we've tried to mention, a lot of it came down to the EMPs. A lot of it came down to specifically the cloak. The cloak ghost able to sneak past behind the army, behind enemy lines, and land these crazy EMPs. The equivalent in, like, ZVP, for example, or sorry, I should say ZVT, is like, say, Dark's, like, Infestor usage, or Seral's Infestor usage, like burrowing behind the army and fungling the ghost. Very similar here, but instead it was the ghost cloaking and EMPing the High Templar. But let's go. Let us go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran putting a point on the board and making a series out of this, representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player. The red Protoss representing T1. It is herO. We go. But again, I do apologize for misspeaking a couple of times towards the end of that game. Running out of steam, papi. I'll get some food after the cast. Get some food. Otherwise, we're settling in. From here, we do have a double gas opener out of ByuN, going for a faster factory, going for a more tech-heavy start. So we saw this last game, actually. We saw this on White Rabbit. We're seeing it here on Ruby Rock. Now, a big difference here. Welcome to Ruby Rock. This is a smaller map, shorter rush distance by ground. Aggression is more favored here than on White Rabbit, so we're expecting ByuN to try to be more active earlier on in the game. That's what we're expecting. Likewise, we should be seeing a safer build out of herO. I say safer build. herO, when he thinks safe, he usually means aggressive. So we're expecting at least 3 gateways, maybe even 4 gates. With Blink. The other option here, we could go for early charge. We have been seeing a lot of charge-based openers so far. We even saw one last game. It didn't really lead into any timing, if you recall. Instead, herO went for a storm drop. So eyes are on herO. Eyes on herO as he does go for the Twilight Council. Should be Blink, but again, did open up charge last game. Reaper does scout the tech, does confirm, and behind this, ByuN is going to be going for his own setup here, getting to his own 1-1-1. Tech lab has been thrown down. We'll see if he goes for the early Cyclone job, or if he does go for an early add-on swap into Banshee play. Both are available. Both are options. Ooh. As Reaper is shut down, ByuN, he won't get a rescout to confirm how many gateways there are. We have 1 gate in the main and 1 gate at the natural. So far, 2 gate Blink. So far. Third gateway gets thrown down. We should soon be seeing a robo to get into a war prism, to get into detection. Just to be safe. ByuN is going for the early cyclone drop. Let's go. So ByuN is going to be he's going to be the aggressor. And we'll see what he can get done. Here, is he going to be expanding before the robo? Oh, quite greedy actually. If this was a fast add-on swap into Banshee play, then herO would be in trouble. And herO does expand. The medevac gets spotted. herO knows. Getting in position. ByuN rotates over. And no major damage, just getting a pylon. Playing safe. Yeah, a big reason for this, ByuN, he killed the pylon, he doesn't know where the army is. He's like, where are you exactly? Just racing back just in case. Tank is getting in position, no safety bunker. But ByuN, he boosts back home to defend. Let's race back. Now we have the later robo. I believe it is going to be Raven harass. Yep, we have the Raven follow-up. No Banshee. And now we're getting into the mid-game. So ByuN, he was able to at least get a pylon. He was able to threaten herO. No major damage. From here, we could try to turn this into a 2-base all-in, but for the most part, we should be expanding and building into the mid-game. Raven moves in. Let's find some damage. Gets a probe. Oh, here's not paying attention. Yeah, late reaction at the herO. One stalker goes down. Nice pick up here by ByuN. Gets one more probe. 2 in total. Oh. So Raven does barely get away. Raven does get away. herO confirming that there's no boy pool. There's no follow-up. There's actually nothing here. There's only 2 Marines. Sorry, 3, 4. Okay, 4 Marines to defend. herO going to be zoned away. Okay, that was close. As both armies are deflected, ByuN, he turns back around, he races back home. Likewise, so does herO. He also builds up. Charge now on the way. We should soon be working towards splash damage. With the robo follow-up, it is going to be the Bay into Colossus. So herO building up the Colossi. We do see herO actually to bypass the main army, diving into the main. No major pickup, just getting 2 Marauders and going for the upgrades. Not same this time, but gets concussive shell. Add something. Based on concussive, recalls back home. We'll lose 2 Stalkers in the process. 3 actually. 3 Stalkers go down. herO's ready for the run by, ready for the counter attack. He's waiting for ByuN to push. Waiting for the move out. He's building up his Colossus. Here comes the Unsiege. ByuN, he's pushing, he gets spotted. And that should activate the Zealots. Yeah, here they come. Yeah, Zealots are moving in. And this is going to get a little bit difficult here for ByuN. I mean, this is still a terrifying army, true. It's a big army. There's going to be 1 Colossus to defend. But there are force fields. As ByuN moves out, Zealots move in, they hit the natural, and SCVs are going down. ByuN is being forced all in, is being crippled. Brutal force field, slowing him down. Giving herO more time. And that's going to be 19 SCV kills. Again, ByuN, he's completely all in. There's nothing back at home. ByuN has lost everything. Zealous is still alive. They turn around. Armor shred on the Colossus. And ByuN is trying to go in. Tanks are exposed. Tanks will go down. Takes down 1, 2 tanks. Marines, they step in. They get the Colossus. Not bad. Yeah, Colossus does fall. No more splash damage, but now there's a second Colossus. And with that, GG gets called. herO, he defends, he holds, and herO will claim the series 3-1, becoming this week's KungFu Cup week number 2 champion. GG. GG, well played. Again, ByuN, he did commit across the map. Once he got spotted, herO was able to counterattack, able to backstab, able to just cripple the economy and just force the all-in out of ByuN. Just a really brutal position there for ByuN, as herO, he had force fields, right? He had sentries, he had the high ground, he had force fields, he had Colossus on the way as well. ByuN just could not force his way up that ramp. It couldn't commit, tried to, and did end up losing everything. GG. GG, well played. But again, we at least had a bit of a back and forth here. ByuN, he was able to fight back on White Rabbit. It was a very intense game on White Rabbit as well. But here, herO able to just shut down ByuN. And again, I was most impressed by the initial game 1 and game 2 out of herO. Remember, if you maybe missed it, we had a lot of Stargate play. We had a lot of Stargate openers and Stargate play out of herO. It was crazy to see herO kind of breaking the norms here and embracing a lot of Oracle play and going for early charge-based timings. Very flexible, very versatile play out of herO, and that's his biggest strength. That's what kind of that's what separates herO from classic and max packs, right? herO, he's a lot more diverse, a little more versatile, a little more chaotic in his builds of choice, and he makes it work. Does make it work. GG, well played. herO does claim the tournament. Congratulations to herO, and my condolences to ByuN, but I mean, again, did make it to the finals at least and did make a series out of it. GG, well played. With that, we are going to be wrapping up here for the evening. Very quickly here, let's catch up on the rest of our schedule. So for those that are curious, KungFu Cup is usually live every single Wednesday. This is a replay cast, as KungFu Cup does start a little bit late for us here in Australia, so we haven't been able to cast it live. But as I was mentioning earlier, daylight savings, I think, is this weekend. Australia. Daylight savings, yep, is this weekend. So after daylight savings, it does mean that starting from next week, we should be able to live cast KungFu Cup. We should be able to live cast, and we should be able to live cast Warrior TV Mondays as well. Once again, like we used to. Should be back to live casting, so just as a heads up, we should be able to make that switch. That is also why, as you can see, we have another KungFu Cup this week on Saturday. That is to catch up with this week's KungFu Cup, so to make sure that we're all caught up, so we can cast next week live. That is the plan. Likewise, we have Pegasaur Cup up next. That's going to be tomorrow morning. That is going to be in around 12 hours. 12 hours time, we should be live with Pegasaur Cup. We also have the Pondcast tomorrow evening. We have the OSC Elite Rising Star on Friday, RSL Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 3 days of RSL. We're going to be crowning this season's RSL champion. Bearing in mind that RSL does cover all the weekend, and that is why there's no Tuna Cup on Sunday. Usually Tuna Cups are on the weekend, Tuna Cups are on Sunday, but because of RSL, we did reschedule to Tuesday instead to make sure we don't kind of step on each other's toes. There's no like clashing of schedules, there's no overlapping either, so we can focus on the RSL. Just as a heads up. So it's going to be a bit of a leaner Sunday, but every other day, 2 casts a day. Samoa's Pegasaur Cup and the Pondcast. The Pondcast is our weekly podcast, our weekly talk show. What do we have to speak on this week? Let me just double check here. I don't think there's a new interview. I don't believe. Let's see. We have news regarding Illegal Lag. There was a new patch, a new update to StarCraft Evolution. True. Was a new patch. Oh my god, no shot. This was announced today. That's crazy. Yeah. Sorry. I mean, sorry. I was just catching up on the podcast notes for this week. I just saw what was announced today regarding Stormgate. I mean, Stormgate, of course, there's a lot that's happening. There's a lot of failings when it comes to Froststrand and Stormgate. But apparently they won't be having online support for 1v1. I mean, for multiplayer modes. That's crazy. We'll talk about it tomorrow, of course, but feels bad, man. Feels bad. I know that there's still like a dedicated scene for Stormgate. I know they still run tournaments as well. Obviously, it is a shame what happened with Stormgate, but yeah, feels bad, man. Feels bad. Of course, best of luck to Zero Space and to other RTSs on the horizon. That's news, yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit more tomorrow. But apparently, basically, their server provider, the server provider for their 1v1 and for multiplayer modes that they have for Stormgate, they are going to be discontinuing their services. So, yeah, that's something that's going to be impacting those that play Stormgate. Won't be able to ladder. That's crazy. It's crazy. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. We do appreciate it. And again, we should be live, and we'll be talking a little bit more in depth about it tomorrow. Likewise, in regards to the ST Evo patch, in regards to the anniversary of StarCraft, of the launch of Brood War, or launch of StarCraft in general. What else has been going on? We've been having a lot of chess as of late. Basilisk and Trigger, they've been kind of headlining a bunch of like chess tournaments and chess show matches, which has been really cool. But again, we'll discuss further tomorrow. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Again, when it comes to the rest of our schedule, we're going to be live tomorrow morning with Biggest Cup and tomorrow evening with the Podcast. So plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. If you want to follow us, you can do so via socials. So we do stream on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Kick, and Soup all at the same time. So you can follow us on your preferred platform. On top of that, if you want some VODs, if you missed out on previous KungFu Cups or Biggest Cups or Home Story Cup, Revival StarCraft League, GSL CK, true, we have been the official casters for GSL CK as well, and GSL is beginning this month, actually. True. That was we were already aware of this, but it was announced by Tasteless during RSL last week. But the regular season of GSL is returning. Again, was already announced previously, so we can also discuss that a little bit more as well. The return of GSL in proper format. That'll be later on in April. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. If you want to support us further, you can do so via Patreon, !Patreon in the chat. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments on a regular basis, so you can support us there. Otherwise, we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more StarCraft. Stick around. We're gonna be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. We'll find someone to send everyone over to. Who is live at the moment? Who is live? I do see sort of. I know he was coaching Lorimbo yesterday. It looks like we have Wardy, Steadfast, and Rotterdam covering this week's KungFu Cup. Again, we'll be able to cover those next week. We'll be able to. Who else is live? We'll give some love to Sort of. Give him some love. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for the support. And we'll see you guys next time. Until then, ciao. Bye, ciao. Hasta luego. See you next time.